Hey everybody, welcome back to the Inhabit Mars channel. Uh, this has been a struggle for me, and I apologize. I know I'm always apologizing lately, but it is taking a lot for me to be able to do these. I can't focus both eyes, so that's the one thing that's going on. I have to cover one eye just to be able to see what I'm doing, and the second thing is that sitting in the seat, anytime I sit up or stand up for a while, I start to get nauseated, and uh, it's really rough. Dizzy, nauseated. So I am struggling my way through this, but I'm getting there. I am almost done with this. It's coming along pretty good. Um, I finally got the terrain modeled somewhat. I got to tweak it a little bit, I'm sure. And so it's coming along. And I dropped some of the objects into the actual 3D model now instead of just on the background image. Now, just to recap a little bit, um, this was a video that Chris posted August 22nd of 2018. Some people in the field were discussing this video. They'd run across it uh, from one that Chris had posted, and my friend Bruce was included in that email. And since he knew that I watched the Mars Anomalies channel, he included me in the email. And their question. Let me see if I can get to it real quick. Okay. Was, what are these things in the background? Are these buildings? Is this a city in the background? And I followed the discussion for a little bit, and basically they were trying to decide, was this a city in the background, or are these artifacts, or what's going on with this image? And I have to say that this image is stacked together. Okay, NASA does that with the rovers because they take images from whatever they're focused on to all the way to the background. They take different images. They refocus the camera and stuff. Chris talks a lot about this in some of his videos, and several others have. But it's basically called Z-stacking, and it's just to keep everything in focus. Because if you just took the single image, it would some things would be in focus and things that are far off. Depending on how you have the f-stop set, would be out of focus. So they take it at different ranges and then stack those images together and compile it into one image. So when you look at this image, the question is, what is this stuff in the background? And this is enhanced, by the way. This when you get the image from NASA, and I'll try to remember, I don't know if I put the link in the last video, but I'll put the link back in this video. And when you go to NASA's website, or JPL's, I have to remember which one we got it from, but it's the same thing. JPL is part of NASA, or works for, is contracted to NASA. But this image came from them. And all I did was the same thing that Chris did. Now, this is his image. And he just did the auto color correction on it. And they came out. And then, of course, now he's cleaned up the image and brought some stuff out even more. But so the question is, what are these things in the background? And in the last several videos, I've gone through that just a little bit about how I don't think they're artifacts, that I think these are actual buildings. So we have someone that works at JPL who said, hey, I think I have this on my computer, and he sent us his copy of the image that he has on his computer at JPL. And his was the same image except cropped a little bit. It's just cropped in a little bit tighter than this. But when I looked at his image and tried to enhance it, the buildings aren't there. And so the question is, okay, and there's no real correct answer to this. Were these in the original image, or did somebody who would have to have access to NASA servers, did somebody add this background in, or was his image, did somebody take and delete those? I can't show you his image yet because I don't have his permission to use it, and I can't really say his name because once again I don't have his permission and he might get into trouble. I don't know. I don't want to reveal who this person is, but he does work at JPL, and he's been there for many years. In fact, he worked on something, I think the navigation system or something for the Sojourner and for the Curiosity, and I'm drawing a blank. What's the one before Curiosity? Oh, sorry about that. But anyway, for several of the roses, he worked on the navigation systems for them, and that's all I know. I think it's the navigation system. Anyway, my point is, I don't know if these were in the original photograph. You can definitely see a line where the one layer was taken and then where the buildings are in the background. You can see there's a difference in the blur. If you look at it close, you can see that actually the stuff in the background is just a little bit clearer than that stuff at the edge of this little, I know you can't see where I'm pointing, foreground area. So let's see. Okay, that's the one we're looking at. So let's see. Let me start with where we've been at for a while now. I should turn off that background. Okay, let me flip over here. Okay, so this is the image here. Oops, I did it again. Okay, now his image was cropped in something like this, because the stuff that's on the far left was missing. And what I've done, I've been modeling everything as best as possible. In fact, if you let me drop this out of the way a little bit. I don't think you need to see all my materials I've been using. Okay, so if we look here, you can see that this is really fuzzy right through here, and my models are kind of in the way. I probably should turn them off, but see how blurry that is? And then you can see a definite difference. Can you see my cursor? Is it big enough? Probably people on phones and stuff aren't going to be able to see the cursor real well. Hopefully you can. I colored it purple. I did that a while back. But you can see a difference in the blur. This is more blurry right here than this is back here. So either way, this background was added. Now, was it, like I say, was it part of the stacking? I don't know. Chris looked at it, and he was kind of going through the same thing I was. Is it just part of the stacking process, or, what's going on here? And I'll definitely put a link to his video. But I've gone through most of these buildings already, and I've been modeling as best I can, and I'm telling you, this is a struggle. Y'all take care of your blood pressure and blood sugar, that's for darn sure. Don't have a stroke, because, boy, it's affected everything I do. So I've been modeling these buildings, as you can see. These are ones we already looked at. There's nothing new right here. This is how much of a struggle this has been. There's just days I can't even work on a computer, and there's days I can get maybe an hour or two, if I'm lucky, too. And even watching the live chat on Mars Anomaly or on Mars X3D, because I do watch Dave's live chats also. And his only go for about an hour and a half maybe. And it's just a struggle to sit here in this chair and I'm hoping this gets better. I'd say it's gotten a tad bit better, but I mean not enough to make a big difference. So, all right, so that's what we've already. Oh yeah, I did finally get this rock done. This was the rock that I was working on for the longest time. Let me just show you real quick. Since I finally got it done, grab onto there. Hi, sweetheart. Just give me a couple of minutes. You want baby shark again? All right, give me a few minutes. I love you. I'll be out there in a minute. I'm recording a video. So, okay. At first, I thought this was all one object, but as I looked at it more, this looks like a rock actually behind this one. This looks like, if you follow the lines, it looks like it comes across here. It might have a little divot right in this area, maybe a piece missing there, but it basically comes straight across. And this one looks like it's sitting behind it. I could be wrong, but that's what it kind of looks like. And it's definitely, it's got this kind of almost like a oval thing in the middle, and it's got these pieces that kind of stick up, and the rest of it seems to be can you see that? Seems to be, you know, indented downward or extruded inward. So you can kind of see that. That's the shape that I saw. Whoops. That's the shape that I saw on that, all right? But yeah, I finally got that one modeled. I almost forgot about that. So we got that done. And then, you know, got the rover and everything modeled, which I already showed you that. So let's go to the model. And I'm hoping I'll be able to finish this up pretty soon. Hey, you mind? You want to talk on the video? Yeah. Alright, come up here. Oh, okay. I got my little helper here. Okay. Alright, can I see you, Alara? Let me turn it down. Kind of. Let me turn it down a little more. Okay, how's that? Alright. So, here's the model. See, this is Mars. Yeah, that's Mars. So I dropped the rocks in approximately where they go. I may have to tweak it a little bit. You can see from the texture of the ground underneath. Let me see. Helps if I can see straight. Grab on the Z and let's move them up. That I went ahead and dropped the rocks pretty much where they go. And then of course the rover is actually right here. Okay, so you can see it right there, and we went ahead and dropped it on there. And then here's that rock. Now in actuality, because of the way the image is taken, this rock here, grab it along the X, would be somewhere probably farther back than that, but it would be a good ways behind these. But because you're taking it from kind of a from a perspective looking across, you know, it's not going to sit on the image in the right place. But you'd see this rock a good bit farther back over here somewhere. So it's just, like I say, the perspective at which you're looking. And then I went ahead and put this hill or butte in there. Oh, and I just extended the texture going back. I don't know if I want to leave it like that because it could be confusing once I drop the building in. So I basically got to model a few more buildings and drop them in the scene, and it should start taking shape. Some of these buildings, let me go back to the image now because there's not really a whole lot more to see here. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Some of these buildings if you zoom into this, you can actually see that this is why I don't believe they're just artifacts, because some of these quote unquote artifacts or whatever sit in front of other artifacts. And you can see that in the image. All you got to do is crop this image, zoom in, and you'll see that there's artifacts sitting in front of artifacts, sometimes 3 or more deep. And because they're turned at an angle towards you, you can see the different layers. So I've been working through that as much as I can, and it is a struggle. Right, sweetie? Daddy been working on it? Yeah, working on it. So I've been trying to get through this, and it's gonna take me a while now. I've been back to the doctor. Well, I went to my primary care physician, and I went to the gosh, which one was he? Oncology? Oh, yeah, oncology, and still need to schedule that biopsy. Well, they were originally going to schedule it for me and call me with it, but they never did. So now they're going to schedule it again. I'm going to call them on tomorrow is Monday, so I'm going to call them tomorrow and see if it's scheduled. If it's not, then I'm going to have to call the doctor that's doing the biopsy and see what when they can get me in for the biopsy. Like I say, I'm not so worried about that one as I am the stroke. I don't think I have cancer, but yeah, you never know. And if I do, there ain't a whole lot you can do about it anyway. Hope that chemo works, and because there's several of my lymph nodes that are swollen. So I guess if so, then that's that. But I'm not worried. So hopefully it doesn't take me forever to get all this done. I'm going to try to work on it, and hopefully I can start sitting here longer and longer. I have been able to sit here about, well, now it's probably close to about an hour and a half to work on, and I definitely can't return to work. I can't see straight to drive. I have to be driven everywhere now, which kind of sucks. And I can't work, so the good news is I have more time to work on this. The bad news is I can't sit here long enough to do it. Now, like my wife said, I probably should try to arrange. I'm looking at the bed right now. The bed's behind my desk. The bed to where I can kind of prop myself up at an angle, because in the hospital I was able to work for about an hour and a half at a time, and I could take breaks here and there and then get back to it. So I'm thinking maybe if I can, we got enough pillows and blankets and stuff to prop myself at an angle like this, that I could lay back. But I need well, I have a lap desk, but it's just not big enough to put the second monitor on. But if I put a little table beside the bed, maybe I can put the second monitor on that, because I'm usually looking at the images and adjusting contrast and brightness and everything else on the image while I'm modeling, to try to make sure that I'm seeing things right. So on the right monitor I'm doing that, and then on the left monitor I'm running Blender. But that's the update for tonight. Did you want to say anything, sweetie? You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi. Wave hi. Say hi. She's looking like, who am I saying hi to? Because don't see anybody. They're there. Well, all right, you guys take care of yourselves. Have a good evening. Stay safe out there. And huh? Yeah, we're saying bye. Yep, we gotta say bye-byes. It's already getting on 21 minutes. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next video. Hopefully that one is the final video. Thank you and have a good night.